All right, tonight we're going to be talking about the time that I broke out the juvenile detention. Initially, I did a 8-month bid at St. Gabriel's Hall, it's the Juvenile Detention Center in Pennsylvania. And I was like, fucking man, stay in Tall Lake City Hall, bro. I do my 8 months, no problem. My fucking moms moved out the city and shit when I got locked up, so I thought I was coming home to a good situation, and I did. The high school that I wound up getting put in was a bunch of rednecks, fucking racist-ass people, fucking called me an N-word lover. Discriminated against me like crazy. I was transferring from the juvenile detention center into the school. The school even tried to convince them to put me in an alternative school. They tried to do everything they could. They even said, we think it's a good idea if we have a meeting before he comes to the school and talk about other options for him. At the end of the day, they did not want me in that school at all because they heard that I was from the city and that I was transferring out of a juvenile detention center into there. And one thing a lot of people don't know is that when you're on probation, anything can be a violation. It doesn't even have to be something against the law. Anything can be a violation of your probation. I was only in that new school for about 4 days before I got suspended. One of the reasons was that I allegedly threatened a teacher in class. What actually happened is I cursed in class and the teacher said, I'm going to have to write you up for that. So I waited until the end of the class and I pulled the teacher aside. I was like, hey, could you please not write me up for that? I'm on probation. I just got released from 8-month sentence and it would be really bad for me. Well, that teacher goes and fucking tells them that I said it would be bad for them if they reported it. And yeah, that sounds like a threat, but that's not what I said at all. So either way, my probation officer gets word that I got suspended from school and I've only been home for 4 days, so I get an emergency court date. I already knew what that meant. I knew that meant that I was going to be getting sent back to jail. And I just wanted to go on the run right there, but I talked to my uncle and shit. He gave me some advice and shit. He told me I should just go deal with my problems. And if you're just honest with the judge, maybe it'll work out for you. No, that's bullshit. They sent me back for 2 years after I've just did 8 months and only been home for 4 fucking days. Mind you, I'm only 15 at the time. So I'm in there for maybe like 2 weeks, bro. And like, not to get too into it, bro, but like them juvenile detention centers that they send the kids from Philly to is fucking hell, bro. You going through hell in there, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. I ain't even gonna get too into it, you feel me? Like, shit's just bad in them Jones. You don't want to be there. The biggest thing that fucked with me is I started getting locked up when I was 13 years old, was in and out of jail, and then I got my first sentence for those 8 months. I was only home for 5 days and then got sentenced to 2 years. I felt like I was losing my entire childhood, so what the fuck else I'm gonna do but run away? And on top of that, I had a kid on the way, and I found out that the mother of my child-to-be wound up getting an abortion and didn't even tell me. I wound up having to find out through a third party, so I was also very fucked up in the head at the time. Well, it was around summertime when I got locked up. I started plotting my escape. When summertime comes around, they give you shorts and a white t-shirt. Your whole little uniform changes up. And they give you pajamas to sleep in. So when I go to bed, I always wake up at 2 in the morning. Something, my body's got like a natural alarm. I always wake up at the same time in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning. And so the night staff that was working this night, I made sure I planned it out so that I would do it when he was there, because it was this big fat motherfucker named Anthony who fucking would just sleep through the whole night, snore, sleep like a motherfucking bear in hibernation. And so I wear these shorts and this white t-shirt underneath my pajamas so that when they give the description of what I'm supposed to be wearing, I can lose the pajamas and I'm just in the shorts and the white t-shirt, right? So I wake up 2 in the morning. What do you know? Anthony, the night staff, he's passed the fuck out. And so the way our sleeping dorm was set up, it's open dorm, right? So it's a long hallway with everybody's room. We all sleeping in it. But there's a door that you have to scan through. All the staff, they got these little ID card badges they wear on a lanyard around their neck. They can scan through the doors. And that's how, because it's a secure building still, mind you, but they can scan out with their little IDs. And so I would have to wake the night staff up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, because the bathroom was on the other side of those doors in the day room. So I tap him on the shoulder like I'm trying to wake him up to go to the bathroom. But knowing Anthony, I knew he wasn't going to wake up right away. He's a heavy ass sleeper. So he doesn't wake up. So I unclip the little lanyard from around his neck that you can scan through the doors with. Still passed out after I take it off his neck. I'm like, fuck yeah, bet. So I scan the door But when you scan the door, it makes this loud noise. It goes beep. And when it does that beep, Anthony wakes up. He goes, and so I go to push through the door. He grabs my arm. So I snuff him. Crack his ass. And I run through the door and I slam the door. And he goes to reach for his fucking little ID card to chase after me. But it's not there. I got it. So I run. I scan through the next door. I run down this staircase. And there's only one more door I got to scan through and I'm out. Mind you, I had the courtesy. I left his little ID badge at the door so we didn't have to get a replacement. And so I run. And there was rumors of this trail fucking outside of the jail that would take you out to this bus stop to the freeway. You know, I've never seen it myself, but there was rumors of this fucking trail. And so I run towards where people told me that trail was, and the trail really fucking exists. I follow this fucking trail for maybe 3 hours, bro. But I divert off the trail after a little while and start running through the woods because I'm like, well, if the cops looking for me got any fucking sense, they're gonna look on this trail. So I'm running through the woods, pitch black darkness. I wound up fucking, there's a giant fucking hill like down the river. I didn't fucking see it. And I fucking fall and tumble down this whole hill, rip my fucking clothes off. Well, not off, but rip my clothes up. I'm all filthy, dirty and shit. And eventually I cut back into the trail and I walk by his apartment complex. I see this little girl's bike, pink bike with ribbons on it and shit. I get on that motherfucker, I start riding it. Eventually I come to like an interstate kind of off-ramp deal and I see a Wawa. If you're not from the East Coast, Wawa is just basically like a fucking big gas station / deli out that way. And so I go into Wawa. I tell the dude I got in an argument with my girlfriend and she threw me out the car. I don't know where I'm at. I ask if I can use their phone to make a phone call. Mind you, it's Father's Day. When I didn't realize it was Father's Day when I broke out. So I fucking only number I knew off the top of my head was my dad's number though. So I called my pops up. And I'm like, hey, long time I ain't heard from you. Happy Father's Day. Hey, I just broke out of jail. You think you would come pick me up? And he's like, bro, I ain't heard from you in the year. What the fuck? I ain't heard from you. Whatever. Yo, so he's like, man, whatever. You my kid. I'm going to come help you out. I'm going to come get you. And so the craziest shit, I'm hiding behind the dumpster, behind the Wawa for a while, just waiting for my dad to show up. I told him I was going to be hiding back there. But I had to go back in the Wawa, get some water, right? So I go to walk into the Wawa, and coming out of the store, I see the person who snitched on me, who got me locked up in the first place. The whole reason I even had to break out of that facility, walking out of the Wawa. Mind you, the facility I'm locked up at is about an hour outside of Philly. And this kid's from Philly as well. We from the same neighborhood. So it's like, what the fuck are the chances that he's walking out of this store the day that I break out of the fucking jail for the shit that he snitched on me? And everything in my brain tells me, kill this motherfucker. But I'm like, no, bro, you made it this far, bro. But we locked eyes. And he knew it was me. Crazy, crazy situation, bro. And so eventually my dad comes and picks me up. He asks if I got a plan. I tell him, not really, man. Drop me off at my boy Kyle's house. I know he'll get me right. So he takes me to my boy Kyle's house and fucking, he tells me I can crash out in his car for a little while until I get shit figured out. And then, yeah, the ball just kept rolling from then on, bro. I was on the run for about 1.5 years when I was 15. And, yeah, I got a lot of stories from that time on the run, bro. But, yeah, that's the story of how I broke out the Juvenile.